Hi, I'm just having a quick video to tell you where you can get your LDL particle size tested. And also, you probably have to send it away because that's not really readily available in the labs in Ireland. And the other one is to get your visceral fat scan. So if you have a worry that your internal organs are being pressurized by this bad visceral fat, then you could go and get a CT scan or an MRI scan, and it'll tell you exactly what's in there. If you have the money and you're worried about it, I would definitely go and do it. The first thing I would do personally is change my diet beforehand. But if you don't have time for that and you feel like you need to get checked, do it. So Body Scan Ireland, I'll put the this link in the comments. So Body Scan Ireland is where you will get the scan for the visceral fat, and that's available in Dublin as far as I can see. There might be a clinic in Cork every now and again, and maybe in Galway, or some of the big centres. But at the moment, I can see in Dublin, I would definitely get it done if I was worried about it. So the other one is testing.com. They will check your LDL particle size. I said it in the last video. I'll put it in the comments below that your LDL, your total cholesterol can be high. Mine is high, and I was offered a statin, but I would never ever take a statin because they're using an old test that was invented in the 70s or something, or agreed on in the 70s. The test they're using is total cholesterol. So your LDL is estimated, and it's based on your cholesterol and your HDL, which is considered the good cholesterol, and LDL, which is considered the bad cholesterol. But 80% of LDL is not bad. It's metabolically neutral. So you have 20%, and the 20% should be large buoyant particles, and sometimes they're small, dense particles, which is usually if you're on a high carb diet. And I assume the important test is the triglyceride to HDL ratio. Mine is very low. It should be under 1.5. So that's the one that tells you about cardiovascular risk. If it's over 1.5, you need to change your diet. You need to change your diet. You can waffle to the doctor. You can get a statin. And yes, of course, drugs help. Of course, tablets help. But if you want to do something long term and you want to actually clean out your insides, clean out your arteries, which is what I am doing. I'm on the 5th day of a 5-day water fast today. I'm doing it to clean out my arteries, clean out the visceral fat, get all that shit out of my insides. So anyway, so testing.com, and they seem to do it online. So I think you probably have to send it away. So anyway, it's testing.com. I'll also put it in the link below. Yeah, some people, if you look up on boards.ie, a lot of people actually have been looking for this. So obviously an interest in these kind of things. We're a small country. It tends to be harder to get some of these kind of more advanced testing. They're not widely available. They're not covered under health insurance. I think the scan is anywhere between kind of 700 or 800 euros and 1,200 euros. If you have the money, I would do it. I mean, why are you everyone sitting around like a ticking time bomb? And the other one is would probably be a bit cheaper. The LDL test is called the heart and cholesterol cardiovascular and health checks. So anyway, that's it. I'm not going to say any more, and go get yourself checked if you want to. But the first thing you should always do is change your diet. And I would say cut out the carbs. You will be sweating at the beginning. You will find it hard. You will struggle. There's no way of switching between insulin resistance and insulin sensitivity. Insulin sensitivity is where you want to go. Insulin resistance is where you probably are. Probably 80 to 90%, they reckon, of the population are insulin resistant. We don't even know it. I didn't know it. We don't even know it. We've been eating carbs and spiking our blood glucose first, and then the insulin comes afterwards. So spiking our insulin too often, too long, on a chronic basis. This has to be going on for a chronic basis. If you're someone that was fasting a couple of years ago and now you're eating carbs all the time, you might not still be insulin resistant. It takes a good bit of time to actually become insulin resistant. But most of us have been eating carbs all our lives, breakfast, tea, lunch. We're constantly spiking our insulin. We don't even know it because we're so used to our blood glucose being high that we feel that's normal. Now that I understand, I realize that's not normal at all. That's keeping us up on this artificial high blood glucose and then high insulin. So we become insulin resistant, whereas some of our cells will not respond to the insulin. And that's not good for our metabolic health. It's not good for our autoimmune immune system. It's not good for any part of your body. Not good for plaquing the arteries, not good for getting dementia, not good for having, basically what it boils down to is your mitochondria get damaged over time. And what happens then is the mitochondria, if you have a dysfunctional cell that hasn't been cleaned out, fasting helps to clean out all those bad cells, because you go into a thing called autophagy, which actually the Nobel Peace Prize winner in 2016 was, I can't remember his name, but he won on the medical field for autophagy. That is where you are fasting for, it's kind of said to be more than 24 hours. I'm now fasting for 5 days. I don't even know what that is. 5 times 24. It's 5 days this evening at 6 o'clock. So 5 times 24, whatever that is. So I'm fasting for 5 days, and I am now I'm in ketosis, which is burning up my own fat. And I'm also in autophagy, which is cleaning out the old mitochondria. I'm doing it really for prevention and a bit of fat loss, because I'm a bit fat at the moment after Christmas, and trying to get into this second dress. But anyway, I'm still on about the dress. So autophagy is where everybody wants to achieve at some stage, but I wouldn't even think about that at the start. What you want to do is do ketogenic diet with intermittent fasting. You will not do much intermittent fasting at the start. You'll start with maybe 10 hours, 12 hours, basically your sleeping time, and you'll kind of widen it out. I do roughly 16-8, but I vary it because I don't think it's good for the human body to be on the same thing all the time. Like, don't go from one pattern to another. So insulin resistance is where you've had this chronic spiking of your blood glucose and then your insulin over time. A lot of people get type 2 diabetes, which is you can get rid of type 2 diabetes with a couple of weeks on keto, believe me, or carnivore. I do keto. But anyway, it's my own special version. But anyway, go on keto for the first 3 days, particularly the second day. So you'll go on keto, let's say in the evening of, say, a Friday evening. On the Saturday, you will spend all day in bed. You will be exhausted. You will feel like you have the flu. You'll be like, oh, I'm dying. You are not dying. What your body is doing is attempting, it's so broken, it's attempting to get over here to insulin sensitivity, and it's very difficult. And this is where people fall off the wagon, is they can't do that first bit. It only takes 3 days. The Sunday, you'll feel okay, but you'll be allergic to the carb-free food because you're used to that blood glucose spike that you love so much, and you'll be like going crazy. But keep at it, and then it'll kind of become, what I did was I recorded my journey on Instagram, and it forced me to kind of, the next day I'd be going, oh, I'm coming off of this shit. And then I was like, oh God, I've been on Instagram. Other people have seen me. Because I didn't know anyone else that was doing it. So that's the way I did it. I kind of used it as my accountability partner. And I ended up walking a lot, not because I like walking, not because I needed to do the exercise. The exercise really doesn't matter. As I said before in another video, my 17-year-old son, who was, 17, he just was turning 17. He lost 45 pounds, didn't move. He didn't move. And he's still not moving that much. But anyway, he's managed to maintain that. He started in August last year, and he lost 45 pounds, nearly 50, I'd say, when he finished 51, when he finished. And he has managed to maintain his weight. And he can eat a lot more carbs now. No problem. You'll get into, I stayed strict for 3 months. I put him strict for 3 months. You actually can cycle. Actually, my husband, I didn't put him on strict. He's never really been on strict except for a weekend. And he said to me, oh my God, he smells so bad. But he didn't realize he had gone into ketosis, so his body had switched over. In the initial ketosis, you will stink. Your sweat would be like kind of sour and whatever. He didn't realize. I didn't tell him because I said, oh, he'll be all bothered about it. So I didn't even tell him what was happening to him. He was like, God, I must be stressed or something. But no, he was just switching over. You'd be stinking. But once that happens, I'm in ketosis now. I never kind of stink like that again. It's really the first time when your body's really going chugga, 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 and it doesn't know what's happening. So you go into the next bit, and you will you'll just have to struggle through in the initial phases. But if you can do the 3 days and be like a little bitch to yourself and say, I can do this because I want to be in. once you become insulin sensitive, I am telling you, it is like reaching the promised land. I am not lying. It's like reaching the promised land. I love life so much more. I mean, I was always a very kind of positive person and everything, but it's like coming out into a different land, the promised land. It's so gorgeous here on the other side. Come join me. So anyway, that's it. Go and get your health. Let's clean ourselves out from the inside. You know, before this happened, I was kind of thinking getting Botox, whatever. I still like to get Botox, but and all these other external things. And this kind of happened by accident for me. But I was gaining weight and I was stressed and I was kind of, you know, everything was kind of shit. And kind of this, it almost feels like an accident. I'm always saying when things happen to me, it's like the hand of God. You know, the Maradona hand of God. It's like the hand of God. So listen, start cleaning yourself out from the inside and start small, but maybe do what I did. Maybe use Instagram. Like I was terrified of being on Instagram. I was terrified of people seeing me. I was terrified of, you know, the way I might look in a certain, you know, like, and then you just say, look, this is not really about how other people feel about you. And it's not about likes, because believe me, if I was chasing likes, then I'd be on a loser. But it really did help me. It totally helped me. And I have to say, I thank Lewis Capaldi, who actually is overweight himself. But for some reason, I just played Lewis Capaldi for 3 months. I don't think I listened to anything else. And it really, really helped me, even though it wasn't, I mean, while I was walking, I would stick in the earbuds, here they are, and I would listen to Lewis Capaldi, and I felt like I was elevated. But walking was just a way of getting away from the kitchen, you know. And at the beginning, I didn't get rid of a lot of the, you know, the rubbishy food in the house, mainly because of the kids and stuff. And then eventually it started drifting away. Now we could have a week or two where we don't have much rubbish in the house. But I wouldn't be tempted anymore, you know. And at the beginning, I was amazingly strict. I am the worst person for being strict to myself. I have no control, but I couldn't believe it. Anyway, getting back to my husband, I got rid of his fatty liver. His blood test after 2 months on dirty keto, he was only allowed to eat carbs maybe once, maybe twice a day, because he was under, I thought he'd be the disciplined one. He was way worse than me. But anyway, he got rid of his fatty liver. His triglyceride to HDL ratio is under 1.5. His is 1.3. Mine is 0.423, A+. But anyway, top of the class. I don't like to gloat about it, but I have when I got my blood results back in February, I was like, I kept them on the kitchen table, and every time someone would come in, I would go on about them again. They were like allergic. But anyway, so listen, and I will be sharing more scientific information and links where you can get other information from people. It's so good. Start looking after yourself. I want people to feel as good as I do. I want people to be able to transform. I have 3 teenagers and a little one, and their lives have been transformed by my own version of keto. Yeah, they eat more carbs than I do. I don't hardly eat any carbs, 5 days a week. But they eat more carbs than I do, and but they must have a keto breakfast. Usually it's eggs, could be bacon or whatever, but they must have a keto breakfast. At the weekends, I'm a little bit more relaxed, but it has transformed the kind of cranky, moody, acne. It's just, my son, all his acne went, all the moods, amazing, just completely different. So absolutely, have a great day. It is very sunny here, which is lovely. We got a bit of vitamin D today. I did some walking this morning just to kind of, because I'm doing the fasting, I had to do some walking just to keep myself motivated, because it is sometimes very hard. You would be, and I'm cooking for the kids. So I'm like, I really want to eat. But anyway, I'm going to wait for another. I'm on day 5 and I'm finished at 6 this evening, but I'm thinking I might go for another day. So we'll see. We'll see how I get on. I'm kind of on a nice purple patch at the moment. Bye. See you soon.